What's up, you guys? Today we're going to be talking about my work history while playing Three Minds Round on hard difficulty with double HP Moabs. So first off, we always drop off Sada at the beginning and just let her just solo a bunch of shit until we get to like a little bit of a hard difficulty, like harder stage in the thing. So let's talk about my work history. I've had several jobs. Keep in mind I am 21 years old. Let me pop this in real quick. Haven't had breakfast yet. I am 21 years old. I've been living by myself for about almost 1 year now. And I've been in school for like every other part of that. I went to an early college, so what was great about the early college is that it was like right across the street from like a bunch of like little shops and fast food restaurants. So after school, I could just walk over there and not have a problem with it. So that's what I did for the longest time. I walked over there. My first job was at Tropical Smoothie. This place sucked dick, bro. I hated Tropical Smoothie, mainly because, well, it was my first job. I was like 15 years old working there. You know, my parents would drive me to work. That's before I like figured out the tech of just walking across the street. But I worked there for $7.25 an hour, and our state's minimum wage is $7.25. So I was getting paid minimum wage. I worked every weekend, pretty much like open and close, bro. And like I was just getting my ass beat by these like mean ass customers. Shit was not nice, like at all. But dude, it sucked. I hated it. Let me get an engineer monkey going on. Large service area. So he's gonna help with, since I got deconstruction, he's gonna do extra damage to Moab. But it sucked, man. I hated working at Tropical Smoothie just because of like they treated you like shit, bro, and I did not like that feeling at all. So I said fuck that, and I had found out that one of my relatives was working at McDonald's, and I was like, oh shit. They're getting paid $9 an hour compared to my $7.25. Let me go work there instead. I'm getting a bunch more money. I don't gotta work as often. So that's always been my thought process. So I quit Tropical Smoothie. I think I quit like the day of. I don't think I put in the 2 weeks. I kind of just quit. And what sucked is that like, I was like one of the only people that would work on the weekends and that would come up to like show up on work. At Tropical Smoothie, we've had like several instances where I'd be the only person that showed up, and like I'm 15. I don't know how to do any of this shit, bro. I'm a new hire. I worked on the weekends. I don't know how to do this shit. But hey, they want to be cheap about their labor, you know. Fucking let them find out what happens when you're cheap. So that's pretty much what happened. Let's see. I can almost buy. So that was my first job, Tropical Smoothie. My second job was at McDonald's. McDonald's, I worked there for a while. I did take a break to go work somewhere else, but then I did come back to McDonald's because my dad forced me to. He was like, "You need a fucking job. You're a fucking bum. You don't got no job." And I was like, "You know what? You're right, man." Can I put this even closer? Alright, it's almost round 4. They need some fucking artillery. I need more weapons. There you go. Flash bomb though. So I did work at McDonald's for a bit. It was probably like the worst job, but like also like one of the longest jobs I've ever had. I did quit on my own accord both times. I kind of just did what I wanted. I was a closer, so like I kind of had like that invulnerability. Of like, who the fuck you gonna fire? Me? I know you're not gonna fire me. I close. You know, good luck finding somebody else who's willing to stay up till like 3 a.m. to work here. You know? And like the audacity that some of these people had while working at McDonald's was like so stupid, bro. It's like, you are not that, bro. You are not him. There you go. Signal. He's gonna take care of the HP. So McDonald's, I did work my way up to like grill closer whatever it's called, team trainer, crew trainer. I think that's what my title was, because I was in charge of training a lot of folks in the ways of McDonald's. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the people I worked with, because there's a certain demographic of people in my area will go up to McDonald's and like, let me get my fries fresh, and let me get all my food fresh. And I'm like, bro, this is McDonald's, bro. And I remember people would ask me to cook their, like when I would work breakfast shift, they would ask me to make their eggs sunny side up. I'm like, bro, I can't do that. I gotta make the eggs a certain way, because like we just don't do that. You want your eggs made gourmet, go to fucking Waffle House, bro. And people think they can get the jump on us, and here's the mentality of why people are so rude to us, is that realistically nobody's gonna get angry over you for getting like pickles or whatever like that, right? It's because they had a horrible day beforehand, and you're just an easy target. They think they have like a superiority, thing over you, and that gives them the right to act out that way, which does suck. It does suck. Let me get this. It does suck to be treated that way, but that's just how it is. And I got over it. I've had people throw shit at me, and you just gotta let this shit go, bro. No, it's not worth it. Protect your peace, because you don't know what they got going on in their life. Put him on strong targeting. But yeah, that's my experience at McDonald's. Bigger stacks. There you go. Ain't shit getting past deadly spikes. So yeah, then halfway through my McDonald's career, I went to go work at a place called Cheddar's. Cheddar's is a Darden-owned company, so like think of like Olive Garden, Longhorn. Cheddar's is like basically a home, like made from scratch kitchen, sort of, kind of. They just come in the morning, prep everything in humongous batches, and then call it home, made from scratch, when everything comes in packages regardless. The cheddar, the steaks, they're cooked on a flat top grill. The shrimp, it's put through like this big conveyor belt. Same thing with the toast and the ribs. It was okay. I made like 16 bucks working there at like 16 years old, so like I wasn't complaining. Except that I could only work on weekends because it was farther away from where my school was. And then after a while, I was like 16, 17 working here. And apparently, because I was very upfront with my age, and they let me work in the kitchen. But I had called out one day saying I was sick or whatever. And they said, you still need to come to work. I was like, I don't got no right. I'm 17, bro. I'm 16, I'm 17. I don't got a car. I was like, okay, fine. And then next day I go to work. They're like, hey, I need you to come in this office. Like, yeah, we're going to let you go. Our regional manager was in the office when he heard that you were 17. He was like, hey, apparently we can't have 17-year-olds working in the kitchen. I was like, then why the fuck did you guys hire me? And they offered me a job as a dishwasher. I was like, nah, I'm good. I'd rather just work at McDonald's. So that's what I did. I went and worked at McDonald's for a bit. So I got fired from Cheddar's. I went back to McDonald's. And around this time, I was about to finish high school. So I started my EMT class, which I was a volunteer firefighter during this time. And it was just so much fun doing that. I was like, you know what, let me get my EMT like license so I can go work and do stuff like that, because I had fun doing it on the fire side. So I left McDonald's. I started working at this one IFT company. IFT means inter-facility transport. So it's not real like EMS, but it was still like EMT work. So we basically took grandma to dialysis, to doctor's appointments, stuff like that. These companies do like a big thing of Medicare fraud, where they kind of hype up their injuries so where they can get paid by the government to take people out to fucking doctor's appointments. Let me get this guy right here and have him focus on close, or let's do first for a bit. And I got fired from there because I fell asleep while waiting for a patient in a surgical procedure, and we were waiting there for like 3 hours plus, and it was already late for me to get off work. So I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna take a nap. And they found out that I took a nap, and they fired me. So I thought that was pretty funny. I thought it was the end of the world for me, because like, I was making good money. After that, I went out to their competitor IFT company, and I was like, you know what, they pay like $2 more, and let me work there. Dude, holy shit! If I worked there any longer, I would have lost my license because they do some sketchy shit. They didn't have any proper medications on board because in order to qualify as an ambulance service, you have to have you have to meet a criteria. You have to have certain medications on board. You have to have certain equipment on board. They did not meet that like whatsoever. And I'm like, you know what? If I work here any longer, I'm gonna lose my job. So I quit after 1 day. After 1 day of working there, I quit. And I finally got an EMS job for a county area. So that's my current job now. I'm a Fed. I get county benefits. I get government money. And the reason I didn't start off doing EMS is because it's hard to find people that want to hire fresh people out of school, and they don't want to hire people my level either. But this company, this county area I work for now, they pay a lot for my stuff, and now I'm a pretty decent, you know, EMT now. And I gotta say, I'd rather watch people die than work at McDonald's again. I'll deal with the PTSD. You guys can have the rude customers any day of the week. And that's kind of been my work history. I love doing my EMS job. I do plan on going to school to get my bachelor's degree to eventually go become a doctor. So that's like in the future, bro. I don't got it. Those plans are far ahead of me right now. But I will do it eventually. Mark my words. I will do it. I will talk about it on this channel. I plan on doing at least try to do daily uploads. I might slack behind a couple of times because I will be at work for like 36 hours at a time. I do work my butt off. And my work schedule is pretty awesome, not gonna lie. So I'm a full-time employee, and we have a full-time schedule, and it's called a 24/72 hour shift. So I work for 24 hours, and then I'm off for 72 hours. So I basically work once every 4 days, and that's a pretty bitchin' schedule, bro. Like you really can't complain about that schedule. That's like an amazing schedule. Oh shit. Round 76. Fuck. Continue. I got money. I'm breaded up like that, bro. Let's do stronger stimulant to max amount. And banana farm. Let's do this. Radar scanner so that way you can get camos. And let's start. Now he's absorbing most of the Moabs and he's gonna sell them off for a ridiculous price. So I said about my schedule, it's a pretty awesome schedule. Like you cannot complain about the schedule. It's really that good. And jungle drums. So like the schedule, you really can't complain about it because it really is nice. Like it accommodates to what you do. Like having 3 days off in a row is like amazing. I work 24. I go home, I sleep the first half of the day. I have the rest of the day to do whatever I want. My cat's meowing. My cat just talks. I basically get like the whole day to do whatever I want, and it's like amazing. Let me boost this guy right here. So I'm like, I really can't complain about the schedule. But I pick up a lot of overtime, so I end up doing like 36-hour shifts back to back. So I work at 36, I go home for 12, and then I work another 36, I go home for 12, and I work another 36. I'm a workaholic. I'm just like my dad. Bam! But yeah, that's my work history. It was a great job. Great jobs. Never working at Tropical Smoothie again. If my kid ever tells me, oh, Dad, I want to work at Tropical Smoothie, I say, fuck no, you're not. The hell? So, that's my work experience. Anyways, see you, twin.